Good morning, student. Good morning to all of you. Today we shall see the hack driver, which is really very interesting story. You will definitely enjoy. But let me not force to reveal the suspense of this story. I will just read out this story to you, and please, if you do not understand the story, suspense of the story, I am here, ask me, I will definitely explain it to you. The hack driver, see the heading, the hack driver means tangewala, very easy. Now, in the bracket on the top of the lesson, a young lawyer comes to a village to serve someone. A young lawyer comes to a village to serve summons. He is doing the role of bail. On Oliver Lutkins, this is a real hero of the story. Who is, what he is like, what does he work, what is his lifestyle, you will definitely understand while you were reading it. A friendly Lutkin is a friendly hack driver, takes the writer around the village in search of Lutkins. Now, does the writer find Lutkins? Who is Lutkin? These are the questions. The questions are also written on the blackboard. Now, shall I start the story? If you come across new word for you, please try to guess the meaning of those new words to you, or you may ask me when I will finish the story. Come on. After graduating, the writer say, with honor, I became a junior assistant clerk in magnificent, famous, renounced law firm. I was sent not to prepare legal brief. I was sent not to prepare legal brief, but to serve summons. So connect the sentence like this. Connect the sentence like this. I was sent to serve summons. Like a cheap private detective, I had to go to dirty and shadow corner of the city to seek out my victim. Some of the larger and more self-confident ones even beat me up. I hated this unpleasant work to my hometown, where I could have been a real lawyer right away, right now, without going through this unpleasant training period. So I joined one day when they sent me out 40 miles in the country, in the rural area, in the village area, to town called New Mullion, to serve summons on a man called Oliver Lutkins. We needed this man as a witness in a law case, and he had ignored, neglected all our letters, and that's why he went to that New Mullion. When I got New Mullion, my eager expectation of a sweet and simple village, country village of course, were severely disappointed. Its streets were rivers of mud, how disgusting, with a row of wooden shop, how poor it was. Either planned a sour brown or bare of any paint at all. The only agreeable sight about the place was the delivery man at the station. He was about 40. Lutkin was about 40-year-old man, red face, happy, cheerful, and thick about the middle. He His working clothes were dirty and well worn, and he had a friendly manner. This is the impression about Lutkin. This is Lutkin, nobody else. You felt at once that he liked people. I want to find a man named Oliver Lutkin, I told him. Lutkin? I saw him around here about an hour. Yellow fellow, hard fellow to catch through. Hard fellow to catch through means he could never be caught by anybody else. He was very sleepy. He could not be caught red-handedly. Hard fellow to catch through, always up to something or other. He wandered here and there. He is probably trying to start up a poker game in the back of Feed's shop. I will tell you. Boy, is there any hurry about locating Lutkin? He asked why the writer was searching, why the writer was looking for Lutkin, or whether it was a matter of money that had been borrowed. Yes, I want to catch the afternoon train back to the city. I was very important and secret about it. I tell you what, I have got a hack. I will get it out and we can drive around together and find Lutkin. I know most of the places he hangs out. He was so open and friendly that I glowed with warmth of his affection. I knew, of course, that he wanted the business, but his kindness was real. I was glad the fair money would go to this good fellow. Very good sentence. I like this sentence very much. He was an honest lawyer and his earning was honest, and he thought that his honest money was going to the simple person. I managed to bargain down to $2 an hour, and then he brought from his house near a short, large black box on wheel. It was an ordinary thanga. He remarked, well, young man, here is the carriage, and his wide smile made me into an old friend. These means they became friend. Tangiwala and the writer, the young lawyer became friend. These villagers are so ready to help stranger. It is very simple thing. It is found everywhere in the village. The villagers are very cooperative. They are always ready to help you, especially stranger. He had always made it. He had already made it his own task to find Oliver Lutkin for me. I said, I don't want to interfere, young fellow, but my guess is that you want to collect some money from Lutkin. He never pays anybody a cent. He still owe me 50 cents on a poker game. I was full enough to pay. I was full enough to play with him. He is not really bad. He is not really bad. But it is hard to make him part with his money. If you try to collect from him in those fancy clothes, he will be suspicious and get away from you. This is his planning. Don't forget. If you want, I will go into Feeds and ask for him, and you can keep out of sight behind me. This is his planning. Who's planning? Lutkin's planning. Why is it planning? It will be clear to you at the end of the lesson. I love him for this. By myself, I might never have found Lutkin's with the hack drivers knowing help. I was sure of getting my man. I took him into my confidence and told him that I wanted to serve the summons on Lutkin's. He told that hack drivers everything, why he came there. He told him that he wanted to serve the summon on Lutkin. that the man had refused to be a witness when his information would have quickly settled our case. The driver listened earnestly. At the end, he hit me on the shoulder and laughed. Well, give brothers Lutkin a little surprise. Well, we will give brothers Lutkin a little surprise. Let us start. Driver. Most folk around here call me Bill or Magnuson. My business is called William Magnuson, fancy carting and hacking. All right, Bill. Shall we proceed to fees? Yes, Lutkin is just as likely to be there as anywhere. Plays a lot of poker. He is good at deceiving people. Bill seems to admire Lutkin's talent for dishonesty. I felt that if he had been a policeman, he would have caught Lutkin respectfully and jailed him with regret. Bill led me into freeze. Have you seen Oliver Lutkin round today? Friends of his looking for him, said Bill cheerily, very happily. Freeze looked at me, hiding behind Bill. He hesitated and then admitted, yes, he was in here a little while ago. Guess he has gone over to Goose Trap to get a save. Well, if he comes in, tell him I am looking for him. We drove to Gustav barber shop. Again, Bill went in first and I lingered at the door. He asked not only the Swede but two customers if they had seen Lutkins. The Swede had not, he said angrily. I haven't seen him. I don't care to. But if you find him, you can just collect that $35 he owes me. One of the customers thought he had seen Lutkin walking down Main Street, this side of the hotel. As we climbed back into the hack, Bill concluded that since Lutkin had exhausted his credit at Gustav, he had probably gone to Gray's for shave. As Graves' barber shop, we missed Lutkin by only 5 minutes. He had just left, probably for the pool room. At the pool room, it appeared that he had just bought a pack of cigarettes and gone out. So we pursued him, just behind him, but never catching him for an hour till it was past 1 o'clock. I was hungry, but I had so enjoyed Bill's rough country opinion about his about his neighbor, that I scarcely cared whether I found Lutkin or not. He was interested not in finding Lutkin, but he was interested in the nature. He was interested in the nature of that hawk driver. How about something to eat? I suggested, let us go to restaurant and we will buy some lunch. Well, stop. I ought to go home to the wife. I don't care much for these restaurants. Only 4 of them and they were all bad. Tell you what we will do. I will get the wife to pack up a lunch for us. She won't charge you more than $50, and it would cost you more for a greasy meal in restaurant. And we will go up to Wade Hill and enjoy the view while we eat. And again, there are questions to which we have to give answer after reading the last page number 50. I know that Bill's hopeful to the young fellow from the city was not entirely a matter of brotherly love. I was paying him for his time. In the end, I paid him for 6 hours, including the lunch hour, at what was then a very high price, but he was no more dishonest than I. I charged the whole thing to the firm, but it would have been worth paying him him myself to have his presence. His cheerful country wisdom was very refreshing to a country boy like myself who was sick of the city. As we sat on the hilltop looking over the pasture and creek which slipped through the trees, he talked of New Million and painted a picture in word of all the people in it. He noticed everything, but not matter how much he might laugh at people. He also understood and forgave their foolishness. He described the minister's wife who sang the loudest in the church when she was in debt. He commented on the boy who came from college in fancy cloth. He told about the lawyer whose wife could never succeed in getting him to put on both a collar and a tie on the same day. He made them all alive. On that day, I came to know New Millions better than I did the city and to love it better. Bill didn't know about college and cities, but he had traveled around a lot of the country in the rural area and had a lot of job. From his adventure, he had brought back a philosophy of simplicity and laughter. He strengthened me. We left that peaceful scenes of meadow and wood and resumed our search of Oliver Lutkins. We could not find him. At last, Bill concerned a friend of Lutkin and made him admit what his guest Oliver has gone out to his mother's farm 3 miles north. We drove out there. Laying plan. I know Oliver's mother. Now Lutkin is giving information about Oliver's mother. I know Oliver's mother. She is a terror, very dangerous lady. Bill said, I took a trunk. Bill is telling, I took a trunk out there for her, and she almost took my skin off because I did not treat it like a box of eggs. She is about 9 feet tall and 4 feet thick and quick as a cat. And she sure can talk. I will bet Oliver heard that somebody chasing him and he has gone on there to hide behind his mother. Well, we will try her. But would better let me do it. Boy, you may be great at literature and law, but you haven't had real training in shearing. We drove into poor farmyard. We were faced by enormous and cheerful old woman. My guide, Bill, bravely went up to her and said, remember me, I am Bill Magnusson, the carter and hackman. I want to find your son Oliver. I don't know anything about Oliver and I don't want to, she shouted. Now look here, we have had just about enough nonsense. This young man represents the court in the city and we have a legal right to search all properties for this Oliver Lutkin. Bill made me sound very important and the woman was impressed. She retired into the kitchen and we followed. She seized an iron from the old-fashioned stove and marched on us shouting, you search all you want to, if you don't mind getting burned first. She shouted and laughed at our frightened retreat. Let us get out of here. She will murder us, Bill whispered. Outside, he said, did you see her smile? She was laughing at us. I agreed that it was pretty disrespectful treatment. We did, however, search the house. Since it was only 1 story high, Bill went round it, peering in at all the windows. We examined the barn and stable. we were reasonably certain that Lutkin was not there. It was nearly time for me to catch the afternoon train, and Bill drove me to the station. Now, in this way, he could not find out that person, the victim they wanted to bring to the court. On the way to the city, I worried. I worried very little over my failure to find Lutkin. I was too busy thinking about Bill Magnuson. Really, I consider returning to New Million to practice law. If I had found Bill so deep and richly human, might I not grow to love Frisch and Gustav and 100 other slow-spoken, simple, wise neighbor? I pictured an honest and happy life beyond the strict limitation of universities and law firm. I was excited. I had found a treasure. I had discovered a new way of life. This is his thinking. But if I did not think much about Lutkin, the office did. Now he had nothing to do with Lutkins. He was thinking about the simplicity of the ruler. He was thinking about the simple life of simple people living in the village. The office did. I found them all upset. Next morning, the case was coming up in the court, and they had to have Lutkin. I was shameful, uselessful. That morning, my promising legal career almost came to an end before it had started, before it had begun. The chief almost murdered me. He hinted that I might do well at digging ditches. I was ordered back to New Million, and with me went a man who had worked with Lutkin. I was rather sorry because it would prevent my loafing, wandering all over again with Bill. When the train arrived at New Million, Bill was on the station, as already he used to be, platform near his car. Strangely enough, that old tigress, Lutkin's mother, was there talking and laughing with Bill, not quarreling at all. From the train step, I pointed Bill out to my companion and said, "Look, there is a fine fellow, a real man. I spent the day with him." He helped you hunt for Oliver Lutkin. The man who was with the writer asked him if Bill had helped him to look for Lutkin. The writer agreed that yes, he helped me a lot. He must have. He is Lutkin himself. अरे भाई, वो आदमी ने बोला इसको, वही तो लुटकिन है। जिसने आपको हेल्प किया ना लुटकुन के देखने के लिए, वही लुटकिन है। The man who had helped him to look for Lutkin, he was himself. He is Lutkin himself. The writer was shocked. What was he thinking about the simplicity of the villager? He was shocked. He was disappointed. And what did he say? See, the writer said, "What really hurt me was that when I served the summons, Lutkin and his mother laughed at me as though I were a bright boy of 7. With loving kindness, they begged me to go with them to a neighbor's house for a cup of coffee. I told them about you, and you are anxious to look at. They are anxious to look at you," said Lutkin joyfully. "They are about the only folk in the town that missed seeing you yesterday." The writer is very simple man. In this way, Lutkin asked the writer that there were other people to see him, this simple man who did not know the cunningness of simple people. In this way, your lesson comes to an end. Hope that you might have enjoyed it. Thank you a lot. Okay, finish. We shall meet tomorrow. Come on.